Hello, and welcome to another of Mr. Bench's book reviews. What's in the box today? Oh, it's a nice orange one. It is The Highway Rat by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler, the prolific pair. This continues our theme this week of animals that rhyme with hat. On what do you call it? Well, we had railway cat and now highway rat, so on part of the transport network. Let's see. This is also by the creators of the Gruffalo. That's Donaldson and Scheffler. Quite famous, so you may know this before. I have read this before, I'll confess. And I believe it's based on a famous poem which people learn in primary school called The Highwayman, possibly in secondary school. So it may have a certain rhythm to it based on that. And also possibly rhyme and repetition. Let's see. The Highway Rat. There he is, on his horse. Obviously her horse. The Highway Rat was a baddie. The Highway Rat was a beast. It's also, just, it has like indentations and things. So it's set. Very much like a poem. I don't know the word for the... I don't know enough about poetry to know if it's a special kind of poem. The Highway Rat was a baddie. The Highway Rat was a beast. So it is a he rat. He took what he wanted and ate what he took. His life was one long feast. Well, that's good. Giving to those what they need. He's not taking what he doesn't want and not just binning what he's taken. So that's good. His life was one long feast. His teeth were sharp and yellow. His manners were rough and rude. And the Highway Rat went riding, riding, riding. I think that's the bit very obviously taken from the other poem. Riding along the highway and stealing the traveller's food. For North American viewers, you may think a highway is what we would call a motorway, like a big thing with cars going very quickly, but this is just some kind of dirt track with a horse on it. But it'll be a big one connecting to urban population centres probably. So big-ish for those days. And you would expect lots of traffic there for the Highway Rat to meet and, I suppose, take food from. Let's see. A rabbit came hopping along the road. There we go. So there she is. A rabbit doesn't hop on one leg, so I'll let the illustrator Scheffler get away with that. Rabbits are known to hop on two legs. Then stopped with her paws in the air. There she is. Paws up. For blocking her way was the Highway Rat, who cried out, "Who goes there? Give me your pastries and puddings, give me your chocolate and cake, for I am the rat of the highway, the highway, the highway. Yes, I am the rat of the highway, and whatever I want, I take." It's consistent with the introduction. It said he took what he wants. He took what he wanted. So, all adds up. "I have no cakes," the rabbit replied. "I just have a bunch of clover." The Highway Rat gave a scornful look, but he ordered, "Hand it over. This clover is bound to be tasteless. This clover is dull as can be. But I am the rat of the highway, and this clover belongs to me." Okay, I don't know if he's going to eat it anyway, or if he's just taking it out of vindictiveness. Hard to say, really. Rabbit looks a bit upset, though, with her empty basket. It doesn't say if he eats it or not. You may be able to... I'm not sure. A squirrel came bounding along the road. Here's a squirrel. I don't know how easy it is to bound when you're wheeling a cart like this. So... I would trundle if I had a cart like that, probably. and stopped with a shake and a shiver. Ah, it's alliteration for you. You may remember earlier we had something similar. Wait a minute. Yeah, manners were rough and rude, and now he stopped with a shake and a shiver. Well, the squirrel has. For reining his horse was the highway rat, who thundered, "Stand and deliver! Give me your buns and your biscuits," that's more alliteration. "Give me your chocolate eclairs, for I am the rat of the highway, the highway, the highway. Yes, I am the rat of the highway, and the rat thief never shares." Just because you're not sharing what you've got, it doesn't mean you have to take what other people have got. So it's not entirely a logical explanation. "I have no buns," the squirrel replied. "I just have a sack of nuts." I don't expect that's supposed to be an innuendo. "The robber snatched the sack and snarled." That's not quite alliteration, that's quite difficult to say. Snatched the sack and snarled. Particularly as he's stealing food, so you might think he's snatching a snack. But he's not. "I'll have no ifs or buts. These nuts are probably rotten. These nuts are as hard as can be. But I am the rat of the highway, and these nuts belong to me." I believe he had sharp teeth. Teeth were sharp, yeah, so he shouldn't mind a hard nut, really. And they're probably not rotten. I think the rat's just being offensive, really. Because why would you wheel a cart load of rotten nuts along? You just bin it. So I think he's just insulting his victims, rather than making a realistic assessment of the quality of their spoils or their food. Here we go. Now there's the next one. "Some ants came crawling along the road." Well, ants crawling. I mean, it looks like they're crawling, but they're not actually walking on their knees. They're walking on their feet, like anyone else. They're just very low to the ground. I guess an ant could... I don't know if an ant has knees that even... What do you need? You need a limb that bends, do you, to crawl? Oh, it's just walking. Don't know. Then stopped with a somersault. That's an inventive way of stopping. For baring his teeth. They're actually not yellow in the picture. Yeah, if you look very closely, they're kind of whitey grey. Maybe it's his molars that are yellow that aren't visible in the picture. For baring his teeth was the highway. He's not really baring his teeth. I mean, this is just standard rodent front teeth pointing out. Who bellowed a deafening halt. So he thundered previously, and he bellows now. I don't remember if he yelled particularly. He just ordered the rabbit, but now he's really raised the volume. Halt. Good rhyme there, somersault and halt. Yeah. Give me your sweets and your lollies, give me your toffees and chews. That doesn't alliterate. Never mind. For I am the rat of the highway, the highway, the highway. Yes, I am the rat of the highway, and nobody dares to refuse. That's a less good rhyme. Refuse. And the other one was the last one. Rat thief never shares. Rhymes with eclairs. Yeah. It's not easy rhyming. Oh, he's just said Clover belongs to me. No, he said that. Oh no, that's later. I'm not sure what the equivalent one is. I am the rat. Oh, maybe it's that one. Anyway, nobody dares to refuse. Wait a minute, I should figure this out. It's when he talks about cake. Whatever I want I take, rhymed with cake. So that was quite a good one. And then the whole sharing thing, and then nobody has to refuse. If they're going downhill from here, then that is going to get a bit messy towards the back end of the book, but we'll see how we get on. We have no sweets, the ants replied. We just have this nice green leaf. Ah, there it is, it's green. Oh, no, you don't, not anymore, declared the highway thief. That's nice. This leaf is nasty and bitter. This leaf is as thin as can be. It's not actually that thin either, so again I think he's just being disparaging for the sake of it. But I am the rat of the highway, and this leaf belongs to me. There he goes, that's what he normally says. Oh, now it's the thing where they just summarise several robberies all at once. With never a please or a thank you, the rat carried on in this way. Flies from a spider, milk from a cat. He once stole his own horse's hay. That's odd. The creatures who travelled the highway grew thinner and thinner and thinner, while the highway rat grew horribly fat from eating up everyone's dinner. He's unbuttoned his shirt here to suggest that he's growing fat. It's quite nice. Thinner, thinner, thinner and dinner. A duck came waddling down the road and stopped with a "How do you do?" "I see you have nothing," the rat complained. He doesn't normally care. He just asks for cake even when they don't have it. But here, I guess, because the duck doesn't even have a bag or anything, or a cart, so he doesn't know what she's got. Well, he does know that she has nothing. "In that case, I'll have to eat you. I doubt if you're terribly juicy, most likely you're tough as can be. But I am the rat of the highway, the highway, the highway. Yes, I am the rat of the highway, and I fancy a duck for tea." "Hang on," quacked the duck, "for I have a sister with goodies you might prefer." That's nice, we had baddie earlier, now we're on goodies. Nice little throwback to the first page. "I know that she'd love to meet you, and I'm certain that you like her. For in her cave, her deep dark cave, deep dark cave, right at the top of the hill, are biscuits and buns," he was after them earlier, "aplenty, and there you may eat your fill." She must have heard of the rat, because he didn't mention biscuits and buns to her, but she's probably... his reputation precedes him. "Lead on!" cried the rat, and they took to the road, which seemed it would never end. Onwards they rode and upwards, bend after bend after bend. Don't know much about that. Why is the road long? What does that matter? Don't know. It's bendy anyway. At last they came to a lonely cave, and the duck began to quack. It's just talking, it's not any, it's just a duck talking. She quacked, "Good evening, sister, sister, sister." And sister, 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 a voice from the cave came back. Well, that's interesting, because before it was "I'm with the rat of the highway, the highway, the highway." So there's repetition, I would do it with sister as well, to keep it consistent. So you see, she's like quacking into the cave, and then the sisters returning from the cave. "Do you have cakes and chocolates?" the highway robber cried. And chocolates, chocolates, chocolates. Doing the text slightly smaller, so it's getting slightly quieter. The voice from the cave replied. "I'm coming to take them," the rat thief yelled. His greedy eyes grew round. And take them, take them, take them, came back the welcome sound. The highway rat leapt off his horse, into the cave he strode. The duck took hold of the horse's reins and galloped down the road. That's a very nice immediate cut. It doesn't say "and then the duck did blah blah blah," it just says "the duck took hold." So we have this quick transition from striding into a cave, and then the duck just galloping off. There she is, on her horse. Well, it's now her horse, I suppose. Horses just change ownership. Faster and ever faster, following all the bends, which we learnt about earlier, the plucky young duck went riding, 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 galloping down the highway back to her hungry friends. So she's friends with the hare and squirrel. Then they shared out the food from the saddlebags. That contrasts nicely with the rat thief who never shares. And feasted all night long. Bright were the flames of the bonfire, loud was the music and song. That's nice, there's an owl up here, it looks a bit like the owl from the Gruffalo with big orange eyes, if anyone knows the Gruffalo. Wild was the moonlight dancing, merry the cheer and chat. For now they... that's another alliteration. For now they could live in freedom, safe from the highway rat. Well, I don't know about that, he just wandered into a cave. It doesn't really mean he's a goner, does it? I was looking at the picture to see if they got their stuff back that was originally stolen, but I guess he feasted on it. And they just, well, there's a squirrel with a nut there. So maybe they got some of it back. And the rabbit's got a carrot, which she may have preferred to some clover. And the ants have got a leaf, so maybe they did get a fair bit of it back. Here's the rat in the cave then, with lots of stalactites and stalagmites. And some nice cave drawings. And as for the rat in the echoey cave, echoey, so if you didn't know what was going on yet with the echo, they've told you there. So some readers were like, oh, it was an echo. But I was onto it. But it's nice that they put that in, just in case you're confused about where the sister is and why she's not lavishing cakes upon this rat. That's the rat, shouted and wandered till he found his way out of the darkness on the other side of the hill. Yes, you've seen this nice little town. Lots of cakes there, probably. A thinner, oh, he's gone sad. A thinner and greyer and meeker rat. He robs on the thin, contrast with the fat earlier. Grey, I don't think they said he was particularly colourful. Or like, vibrant or red-faced. Meek, I guess he used to be brave. He robs on the road no more, for he landed a job in a cake shop, a cake shop, a cake shop. And they say he still works in the cake shop, sweeping the cake shop floor. I'm not quite sure now, because here he's sweeping and looking very upset with it, very sorry for himself. But then on the next page, he's eating from what he swept. That guy's got a Gruffalo cookie. Can you see that? They like putting in these little Gruffalo things. Oh, and even they're selling more Gruffalo cakes there. And this cat even looks a bit like Tabby McTat from one of the other Schefflers and Donaldsons. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's a nice ending for the rat or not, or it's slightly mixed feelings here. Presumably he could just go back through the cave and carry on. Oh, I guess he lost his horse, but maybe I ought to reclaim it. He's still got his sword, I guess. Oh, that's the end. Cake shop floor. Yeah, so the ending is a bit unclear about how pleased the rat is. I would like to interpret it as him being happy to have found a way to get the necessary sustenance, his fix of sugar, from the cake shop floor, rather than stealing it from the people on the highway. So I think they did quite well there. If you knew the original poem, you may even appreciate that a bit more. But I think it doesn't ruin it either way, really. Only a couple of the rhymes were a bit dodgy. And I quite like. I mean, it had a lot of throwbacks, which was nice. Though I don't know why he gets thinner if he's eating all these crumbs. Like, the ending is a bit weird. It's almost as though they've cut a scene in the middle where he started off thin, and then he landed this job in the cake shop, and became fat again, maybe, and happy. Yeah, so that's the Highway Rat for you. So this week we've had Railway Cat. You can check that out in the playlist, and Highway Rat. Let me know in the comments which you preferred, and if you would like any others by those authors and or illustrators, and I can see what I can do. Donaldson and Scheffler, as I think I said in the intro, are or have been extremely prolific, so I'm sure there are plenty more where they came from. Okay, then take care and see you next time for another of Mr. Bench's book reviews. Bye.